There's a really big shift happening in the world of engineering management. We're moving away from the old idea of just telling people what to do, and we're moving towards actually cultivating the people who do the work. And this isn't some small tweak. It's a total reimagining of what a manager is for. It's about going from a taskmaster to a gardener. So let's break this down. You've basically got two kinds of managers, right? On one side, you have the taskmaster. This person is obsessed with what's happening today. Their favorite question is, what are you working on? But then you have the gardener. They're focused on where you're going. They ask, how can I help you grow? It's not just a different question, it's a completely different philosophy of leadership. So how in the world do you actually make this shift happen in a real company? Well, it all starts with the system itself, the organizational structure. To really get that separation between the what of the work and the how of the person, you kind of have to deconstruct the old school hierarchy. And the answer, a lot of the time, is something called a matrix organization. Now, instead of just one boss telling you everything, you actually have two reporting lines. And I know that might sound a little complicated, but its real purpose is to make things way more clear and focused. Yeah, the whole goal is just to draw a really clear line in the sand. One line of management is all about the day-to-day, the tactical stuff. The other is focused entirely on you, the person, your growth, your career, and just your well-being. So here's how it plays out. You've got the tech lead. They handle the work. They figure out the what and the when. Their mind is on the project. But then you have the people manager. Their job is to develop the person, the who and the how. Their focus is 100% on your individual journey. Okay, so where does the rubber really meet the road with all this? The one-on-one meeting. Because in this system, the whole point of a one-on-one gets completely turned on its head. It stops being about getting a status update and starts being about giving support. So, let me ask you a direct question. Think about your own one-on-ones. Are they basically just you reading a progress update out loud? Because if they are, you might be missing the most important part of the conversation. Check out this quote from the source material. It's wild. It says, you should go into that one-on-one meeting with the intention of not talking about what they're working on. That tactical stuff, that's for the tech lead. The people manager's job is something else entirely. This just completely flips the script. You stop asking questions like, how many stories did you complete? And you start asking, how are you feeling? And what can I do to help? The entire focus shifts from the output to the actual person. And if that wasn't clear enough, get this. The source argues that a weekly status report is, quote, a tool of a weak leader. Ouch. Why? Because the evidence of your work should just be a natural part of how you work. You shouldn't have to hunt it down in a report. So if you're not busy tracking every little task, what are you doing with your time? You're fueling a learning culture. This is the point where personal development stops being a nice little perk and becomes one of the main things your team does. They actually call this idea continuous learning, and they define it as a primitive. What does that mean? It means it's not a bonus, it's not optional, it's a fundamental base level requirement for everyone on the team. The expectation is that you are always working to get better. And as a manager, you're the one who drives this. You do it by asking better questions. Things like, what are you doing to become a better programmer? Or, have you read any good books lately? You're basically checking in on their habit of learning and pushing themselves. And ultimately, building this culture isn't just another task on your to-do list, it is the job. A leader's success is basically measured by whether or not their team is constantly learning. Okay, let's zoom out for a second and look at the big picture. All of this feeds into a much bigger strategy. It's about moving away from command and control and towards leading with context. It's about trusting your team with the why, not just the what. And this gets at a huge problem you see all the time. So often, engineering teams are just executing tasks without really understanding the deeper business reasons behind them. This lack of domain knowledge, as the quote points out, is a massive barrier to real innovation. So what's the solution? It's something called leadership by context. And the idea is powerful but simple. Instead of giving your team the solution to build, you give them the problem to solve. You give them the why, the business goals, the customer's pain, and then you trust them, you empower them to figure out the how. Think about it like this. In that old command and control world, the team is just a pair of hands executing a plan somebody else made. But when you lead with context, the team becomes a brain, actively figuring out the best possible solution. That's how you unlock genuine innovation. So let's bring it all home. What is a manager's true purpose in this new world? Well, it means we have to completely redefine the job description itself. The old model was simple. The worker serves the boss. This new model completely flips the pyramid upside down. The manager is a servant leader. Your job is to serve the people on your team, to support them, not to command them. And if you only remember one single thing from all of this, please let it be this. Your job is not to direct the work. Your job is to develop the person. And that really leaves us with one final, big question to think about. Are you building a team whose only purpose is to complete tasks? Or are you developing people who can actually solve problems? The difference between those two? Well, that's everything. That will define your impact, and it will define your team's future.